Good afternoon. It's once again Friday, 5:30 in the p.m. And this is your host, Danny K. Davis, for the next 25 minutes of Hotline 21. Let me tell you, there are lots of things going on all over the United States of America, and one of the best things that we can possibly do is be aware of them, be involved in them, try and facilitate those that we agree with and are going on, try to change those that we don't, and be engaged in life. So it's good to be here to share some time with you, and you. Chicago continues to be one of the most vibrant cities in America. I've had a very interesting day. I attended the funeral this morning of Mr. Sam Mitchell Jr., who is a member of the Mitchell family that is most noted for the fact that their family owned a restaurant for at least about 50 years, I guess. Mr. Mitchell and his daughter Edna ran it. But the interesting thing about the whole family is that different ones would come by. Judy Mitchell Davis would come by sometimes. She'd be having her robe on just before she got there. She'd take the robe off and come and start waiting tables and cleaning up tables. Or she might go back in the back and start helping the cooks and doing whatever she did. Sam Jr., who was funeralized earlier today, Sam Jr. was actually worked for the Attorney General's office in the state of Illinois most of the time that I knew him. But he likewise would come in the restaurant, and if something needed to happen, or if they may have been extremely busy and there was a way he could help out, he would do so. He also just was a real philosophical guy, and sort of an intellect, and liked to engage people in discourse. He also liked to play bid whist, and he was known as the bid whist guy. And so if you really knew the family and interacted with them, at some point in time, you may have known that Sam considered himself a master bid whist player, but he was a community activist. He was a very, their family I knew well for a lot of reasons. One, I knew them well in terms of just knowing them. But they also lived next door to the Ware family for many years, and my secretary's name is Josie Ware, and so I've been knowing the Ware family for a long, long time, and so I knew the Mitchells in 3 or 4 different ways. I knew them via the restaurant. I knew them from their interaction in the community. I knew them as living next door to the Ware family. And I knew them from their involvement with the Union Hill Missionary Baptist Church where the funeral was held. And so we say farewell to Sam Mitchell. Commend him for his impact on the community, and will help keep their family name alive because it deserves to be. Farewell, good and faithful servant. Now we'll go to the phone and take our first caller. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, Connie Davis?
I am fine, James. How are you?
Okay, now when I was watching Donald Trump and Kent West, and I think he went too far. But okay, when he
which one do you think went too far, Donald Trump or
both of them,
Kanye West?
both of them.
All right.
And then, okay, they were talking about Edgar J. Hoover, the one talking about the gangbanger, and they said he trying to stop the violence, and then he ain't doing not the violence. It's all the other countries doing the violence too. And then I didn't hear Conway West missing fighting in other countries, but he talking about in the black community. I think he went too far.
You know, the only thing that concerns me about Kanye West and his dialogue with the president is that the press and people have played up individuals in our community who are entertainers, individuals who are athletes. Well, they nice people and all, but they ain't my leaders. Kanye West, you know, he might be a good entertainer, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what he says or does in relationship to my relationship with Donald Trump, or how I think about the Trump government. I think it's the SOS, the same old that we have been experiencing a long time. Give me an entertainer for entertainment. Don't give me an entertainer necessarily for leadership.
But like I said, he should have talked. Louis Farrakhan should have a long talk with him, Connie Davis.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm saying I'm cool if a guy, you know, is putting on a concert or doing a show, but don't tell me much about what they say to the President of the United States of America in relationship to how the African American community and what the African American community's needs are. If I want to be entertained, give me an entertainer. If I want to be informed, give me somebody that I think can inform me. All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you indeed. Well, callers, you know, James has started. We're talking about Kanye West and his interaction with the president. You know, I would have been far more enlightened if somebody talking to the president may have been, say, Attorney Stan Willis. Let's say if Cliff Kelly had been. Or let's say if Reverend Walter Harris had been. Or let's say if Dr. Sowell. Anybody. But you can give me a call and talk about anything you want to talk about. If you want to comment on that, that is well. But you know, they're always great. I went to a great luncheon today that the Comer School had. It was wonderful. The guest speaker was the gentleman who's going to be the director of the Obama Foundation and the Obama Museum and the Obama pieces, and he actually gave a good speech. I appreciate it. And of course, the Comer Foundation is an outstanding organization that provides activity. I went as the guest of a good friend of mine, a fellow named Bill Jacobs, and I met his sister for the first time. So I had a wonderful lunch, and we'll go right to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Yes, Congressman, and listen, it's a great day to be on God's green earth. But listen, two quick things real quick. Kanye West could not lead me to my refrigerator. I mean, nothing that man could lead me to. Number two, your friend Mr. Mitchell, you said he was thought that he was one of the men that thought he was one of the best whist players. Well, he must have read my book because I'm the one that created Biz Whist.
You wrote the.
I was the one that wrote that
I'm
book.
gonna have to come and visit you sometime.
Well, just make sure you bring a couple of handkerchiefs and whatnot, and not I come to the west side and make sure that I'll bring some handkerchiefs and Kleenex for you.
Well, I don't play as much as I used to, but back in the day.
But see, we ain't talking about no back in the day. We talking about right now.
All right,
Now these days you cry.
all right.
You laugh back in the day. Now you will literally cry. But listen, two other things. You remember number one, you told me you was going to see, can you dig in? Can they impeach a Supreme Court justice? You told me you would try to check.
Let me apologize because I called up and the people never got. I called the Library of Congress, two places I try to get information from, and the person just did not get back to me yet. But I'm sure I'll have it this week coming
Oh,
up.
don't worry. I'm going to be waiting for you next Friday.
All
Now,
right.
the other thing, the main thing I wanted to tell you, I remember you saying how you like the greens and the okra and the hot water cornbread, succotash and things like this, and you can't go nowhere and find this. Listen, we always grew up on it. I don't know, is your wife doing all the cooking, but you knew how things tasted. You knew how things had an idea.
She's the boss of the kitchen.
Well, you need to learn to cook too, because listen, I still eat that hog. Listen, I declare war on that hog. I eat from his eyes to the hair off his back. There's things that I still cook. And you know, some of the stuff you can't eat no more because it's bad for you, the blood pressure and things. But see, some things like the ears and things, I can still tear that stuff up. But the greens, the collard greens, the fried okra, stuffed okra, succotash, I still cook that.
Plus, you don't have to put a bunch of salt in there, so
No, you
all of
don't,
that
you know,
stuff is
'cause
good
see, I know
for you.
you're a diabetic now, and you know certain things you just kind of ease back of. You maybe don't have that same taste as when you was 19, 'cause you know you could eat more of it then. But now you have to have a little. But let me tell you something. That's what we call a cheat day. If your sugar been doing good, your blood pressure been doing good all week, have your cheat day. Save up for that day, and you make sure you enjoy yourself on Sundays. You work hard, man. You work hard. You need to play sometime. Just that one day. You're a heck of a good man. I don't know what we will do without you. I can't wait until Friday comes so I can speak to you. But listen, I know I'm hogging up the show. But let me get out the air, Congressman, and wish all callers, listeners, have a safe weekend. And just you be you. And I'm going to be waiting for you next Friday, yeah?
Okay.
All right, let me get
All
out
right. Thank you. And we'll go straight to the phone. Caller, are you there?
Good evening, Congressman.
Yes, how are you?
Yeah. So I too, kind of eager to always catch your show on Friday. And I just wanted to get back to that question you were asking before you went off the air last week about black businesses in the black community. And I guess I made a comment on that. And I was saying, it's not too early in the season. The snow is coming soon, and snow removal businesses could be some resource for black businesses in the community. And I was saying, that's maybe an occupation that could be taught in the schools. I mean, you got the city of Chicago, and, they do a good job at snow removal, but as a CWT type of thing, Chicago work training, the youngsters would be starting to study that.
Chicago work training. We used to have a CWT coordinator at my school when I taught.
Yeah, I was in that program over at Waller High School back.
Yes.
So is that something that could possibly...
It can. You know what? I'm going to try and set up a round table with the superintendent of schools and a group of people and see if we just can't talk about what changes we'd like to see the public school system make and how we can make it more effective and better. I'm going to try to set that up. I'm going to try and arrange that. And maybe we could even get one of the public television, outlets to air it, and we have ourselves a good discussion on how our schools can become more effective than what we think they are.
So snow removal.
When that happens, know that you are the cause of it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good to know. I was very fond of that program. I worked in Jewtown back in the day selling shoes.
Well, guess what? There is going to be a tribute on Sunday to Big Bill Hill, who used to advertise for stores that were on Maxwell Street, and they're having it at Legends at 2 o'clock on Sunday. And Big Bill Hill was the guy, he was a radio disc jockey, but he used to advertise for Makovich's and Smokey Joe's and all those guys down in what was then called Jewtown.
I remember, that's my first name is Bill, and I remember Big Bill Hill had the TV dance show. Was sort of like right before Soul Train came along.
You know what? You are so right, because I was looking at his resume the other day because they've asked me to make some comments and all, and it mentioned that his dance show was the forerunner for Soul Train.
Right.
It sure, we can't let all these heroes and stuff go away without people knowing that they undergirded historical development of things in our community. And it's so delightful to hear that you knew who Bill Hill was, knew what he was doing, and all of that. So I thank you very much for bringing that up.
A pleasure. Have a good evening.
Okay, you too. I tell you, there are just so many things that have gone on, and we can never forget, the shoulders upon which we stand. We can never forget the guys and ladies who started businesses. We gotta get this business thing back going. Because the only way that you have to circulate money in a community is for that money to keep moving from one place to the other, from one place to the other. And even if a bunch of folks have to get together and start their own business, get 10 of your buddies together and say, let's put up some money and open ourselves a cleaners. Or let's reopen some of these soul food restaurants that have closed and teach them how to cook the right stuff so that you don't get sick and you eat and you can stop and enjoy your friends and have a little conversation with people and know what's going on. We've got to rebuild our neighborhoods. Caller, are you there?
Hey, Congressman, I had to call back when I heard you say that. See, it always been the difference between the West Side, South Side. Let me tell you, Clint Gent and Don Cornelius grew up in our neighborhood. We played ball. We always there. When Don was down there at Chess with WVON, they the first one that started Soul Train for the kids here in Chicago. Bill Hill did not have the dance thing for the kids until later. Clint ran Soul Train here in Chicago. Don Cornelius, they broke off. Don Cornelius took his thing to L.A. And that's where that Soul Train, well, they used to do it with the same thing with the one here in Chicago. But Clint is the one that, and you know what, Clint don't get enough props. I think, certain things have happened, and the Clint brothers, it was all of them. They down there from 71st Street. But
All right.
that's where that came from. Please. Bill Hill, I remember Bill. I remember Chicken George down there in Jewtown, down there in Smoky. Now, I know everybody remember Chicken George, and if you don't remember Chicken George, you ain't going to have no idea what I'm talking about. But that nasty, I remember when that man died. It was in Ebony Magazine. This man was so filthy rich. They had shoe boxes of money they found in his place. But check it out, Chicken George. You remember that old dirty chicken? He played that music and that chicken would dance on the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those. All right, let me get out there.
All right. Let me tell you, that takes us back to the early days, even before I came to Chicago. I've always been an avid reader. And I used to hang around my aunt, who was a hairdresser, but she would sometimes get the Defender, the Pittsburgh Courier, and the Grit newspaper, and I'd go down there saying I was going to help her, but I really was going down there so I could read those newspapers while I was waiting. All of that makes a great deal of difference. Let me also mention, before I forget it, the Hampton House. All of us remember Fred Hampton. We knew his brother Bill, who carried on much of his work until he died recently. His mother, Mrs. Iberia Hampton, always opened her house for all kind of positive things going on. Plus, she was a great cook. Their father was seriously engaged and involved. Well, the Hampton House is in foreclosure. And Fred Hampton Jr., Chairman Fred Hampton, came by to visit me the other day and was telling me about it. And we're going to try to help them save the Hampton House so that we can turn it into a museum. They've got to raise $14,000 in the next 2 or 3 days just to hold the bank off until they can raise the rest of the money. I am trying to help them set up an approach to doing it. We need people who will be on the committee to help save the Hampton House. If you are willing to help, please call my office at 773-533-7520, and we will tell you how you can get involved with us. Ultimately, they got to have $80,000. I'm going to help them raise that money because I think that the legacy of Fred Hampton and his family must live on, not only in Maywood, but in the whole part of not just our city. So please, if you will get involved with that, my wife and I are kicking off the fundraising stuff with $1,000. I say $500 for her and $500 for me. And so please give me a call at my office, 773-533-7520, and help us to save the Hampton House, which is in Maywood, Illinois. They actually have a film they're showing at the house tonight, and they've got a telethon coming up, I think it's Tuesday. But give me a call so we can give you all of the ways that you can help. It was the assassination of Fred Hampton and Mark Clark that started African Americans in Chicago and Cook County to seriously doing independent political thinking and voting when we voted Ed Hanrahan out of office. So let's not let this go by. Let's be a part. Again, please give us a call at 773-533-7520. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. And I hope that Gator Bradley will say something about it, because he knows about that kind of stuff too. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.